Salvete omnes. Most students struggle with Roman geography because they try to memorize names. But your brain has actually evolved to navigate 3D spaces, not 2D lists. Today, we're going to build a cognitive map of the empire so you never forget a province again. Welcome back to the channel. If you're studying Latin or prepping for the National Latin exam, you know there's a lot more to it than just conjugations and declensions. Today, we're diving into one of the most crucial yet sometimes overlooked parts of your studies, Roman geography. Why was geography so important to the Romans? Well, it shaped everything from their military campaigns and trade routes to their literature and daily life. Understanding the layout of their world is key to understanding the Romans themselves. So grab your atlas and let's explore the maps that made Rome. First up, the big picture, the Roman Empire at its greatest extent. Under the Emperor Trajan around 117 AD, look at this. It stretched from the misty shores of Britannia in the north all the way down to the deserts of Egypt in the south, and from Hispania in the west to Mesopotamia in the east. This vast territory wasn't conquered overnight. It was the result of centuries of expansion. The Romans controlled dozens of different cultures and peoples, and managing this diverse empire was a monumental task. The major regions you'll see are Italia, Gallia, Hispania, Britannia, Germania, Graecia, Asia Minor, and North Africa. We'll touch on these more in a bit. Seeing this map helps you grasp the sheer scale of Roman power and influence. Now let's zoom into the heart of it all, the Italian peninsula. This is where the story of Rome begins. Shaped like a boot kicking a triangular rock, that Sicily, Italy's geography was perfect for launching an empire. It's surrounded by seas, the Tyrrhenian Sea to the west, the Adriatic to the east, and the Ionian to the south. These waters provided protection and avenues for trade and conquest. Right in the middle of the peninsula is the region of Latium, home to the city of Rome itself. Just south of Latium is Campania, a fertile region famous for its wealth and beautiful coastline where you'll find cities like Pompeii and Naples. Knowing the geography of Italy is fundamental because it is the setting for Rome's origin myths and its early history, which you'll read about constantly in authors like Livy. The Romans had a special name for the Mediterranean Sea, Mare Nostrum, which means our sea. And when you look at the map of the empire, you can see why. They controlled every single piece of coastline around it. The Mediterranean was the superhighway of the ancient world. It connected their provinces, allowed for the rapid movement of legions, and facilitated a massive trade network that brought grain from Egypt, wine from Gaul, and olive oil from Spain to the city of Rome. Control of the Mediterranean was the foundation of Roman economic and military dominance. Without it, the empire as we know it simply couldn't have existed. For the NLE, you'll definitely want to be able to identify the Med as well as the Black Sea or Pontus Euxinus to the east. As Rome expanded, it organized its conquered territories into provinces. Think of them like states or territories, each governed by a Roman official. Let's look at some of the most important ones. To the northwest, you have Gallia, or Gaul, famously conquered by Julius Caesar. His commentaries on the Gallic Wars are a staple of Latin classes. Then there's Hispania, modern-day Spain and Portugal, a source of immense mineral wealth. To the north, the island of Britannia, which the Romans never fully conquered. East of Gaul, across the Rhine River, was Germania, a wild and forested land that the Romans constantly fought to contain. To the southeast, you have Graecia, or Greece, the cultural heart of the ancient world, which heavily influenced Roman art, philosophy, and religion. Further east is Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey, a rich and strategic province. And of course, Aegyptus, or Egypt, the breadbasket of the empire, and the province of Africa, which was a vital source of grain and other resources. You'll see these province names pop up all the time in historical texts and exam questions. So how did the Romans connect this massive empire? All roads lead to Rome, right? Well, that's not just a saying. The Romans were master engineers, and they built an incredible network of over 50,000 miles of paved roads. These roads were vital for moving troops, supplies, and information quickly and efficiently across the empire. The most famous of these is the Via Appia, or the Appian Way, ran south from Rome to the port of Brundisium on the heel of Italy, linking the capital to Greece and the eastern provinces. It was the queen of roads lined with monuments and tombs. Understanding the Roman road system helps you visualize how the empire actually functioned as a single connected entity. Now let's zoom in even further right into the city of Rome itself. The city was famously built on 7 hills. These hills are central to Roman mythology and history. You have the Palatine Hill, where Romulus supposedly founded the city and where the emperors later built their lavish palaces. In fact, the word palace comes from Palatine. Then there's the Capitoline Hill, the religious and political center, home to the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus. The other hills are the Aventine, Celian, Esquiline, Viminal, and Quirinal. Each hill had its own character and history. Knowing the 7 hills is crucial because Latin authors refer to them constantly, often as a shorthand for the city of Rome itself. If a text mentions the Palatine, you should immediately think of imperial power. Beyond the man-made roads, natural geography played a huge role in Roman history. Certain rivers and mountains are forever linked to famous events. The most important river is, of course, the Tiber, which flows right through Rome. It was the city's lifeline, providing water and a route to the sea. Another critical river is the Rubicon, a small river in northern Italy. It marked the boundary between Caesar's province of Gaul and Italy proper. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon with his army in 49 BC, it was an act of treason and the start of a civil war. This gives us the phrase crossing the Rubicon, meaning to pass a point of no return. And you can't talk about Italian geography without mentioning the Alps, the massive mountain range to the north that acted as a natural barrier, famously crossed by Hannibal and his elephants during the Second Punic War. So how does all this show up on the National Latin exam? Geography questions are a staple of the exam, especially in the Roman life and culture sections. You might see a map of the Mediterranean and be asked to identify a specific province, like Gallia or Aegyptus. You could be asked to locate Italy, Sicily, or Crete. They might give you a description of a historical event and ask you to identify the geographical feature associated with it, like Caesar and the Rubicon or Hannibal and the Alps. You might also see questions connecting places to literature, like asking where Aeneas lands in Italy, which is Latium. The key is to not just memorize names on a map, but to understand the story behind each location. Why was Egypt important? What happened in Gaul? Connecting the place to the history is how you'll succeed. To wrap it all up, studying Roman geography isn't just about passing an exam. It's about bringing the ancient world to life. When you read about Caesar in Gaul or Cicero writing about his villa in Campania, knowing the map makes it real. It helps you understand the strategic decisions of generals, the economic forces driving the empire, and the cultural landscape that shaped Roman identity. It transforms the words on the page into a vivid, three-dimensional world. So keep your maps handy as you study. Trace the journeys, locate the battles, and explore the provinces. You'll find that your understanding of the Latin language, Roman history, and the incredible legacy of Rome will become so much richer. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Latin tips. Veil.